The time has officially arrived. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis releases today, a game that I have been patiently and anxiously waiting for, as I'm sure many of you have been as well. Special thank you to Square Enix for sponsoring this video. You can use my link pinned in the comments below or in the description to download and play Ever Crisis today on iOS or Android mobile devices. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is a free-to-play mobile game that takes you through the series of Final Fantasy VII with 3 amazing stories. 2 of them being the original Final Fantasy VII story, as well as Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Both are titles we all know and love very much that introduced many of us to this awesome series. But with Ever Crisis, we are also getting a completely brand new story called The First Soldier, which is where we will be learning more about the iconic series character and fan favorite, Sephiroth, as well as the Soldier program. Ever Crisis transforms the familiar ATB combat system of the original Final Fantasy VII and introduces new elements that I want to help you guys all master right away. Whether you're playing single-player story content, side missions, or even the super addicting 3-team co-op with friends online, these are going to elevate your experience and get you all ready to dominate. For all the latest on Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay in the loop and also help raise that 11% even higher. Now with that being said, let's get into the video. The ATB system is pretty self-explanatory. Over time, your character and party members will auto-attack enemies. However, it is up to you to select which ability to use for the character that you have currently selected. Based on the amount of ATB that they have built up, the computer will use abilities that are needed on the other party members that you are not currently controlling, but feel free to swap between them and use whichever ability you need or want. The most important part about the combat are the battle phases. Battle phase has 2 different stances, an offensive stance represented by the red diamond and a defensive stance which is represented by the blue diamond. Let's talk about the offensive stance first. You always start off the battle in offense. Without auto combat on, it's up to you to control every aspect from stance switching and selecting your selected character's ATB abilities. Semi-auto mode will automate the abilities that your character is using, but you have to control the stance switching manually. I know most players will be using auto battle because it's very efficient in this game and can manage the stance switching almost down to perfection. But it's really important in my opinion that you guys understand what each one of these stances do in case there is an opportunity for you to step in and clutch out a victory when needed. In offensive stance, the physical and magical damage you deal is increased by 35%, and every attack ability will destroy an enemy sigil. This part is very important. Enemy sigils come up when a big attack is being charged up by the enemy. Your party now has an opportunity to break the enemy's attack that they are charging up. If you use any attack, it will break the sigils down by 1 while you're in offensive stance. However, if you use a matching sigil attack symbol, you'll see that it's highlighted detailing to you that this is the one to use. You will break the sigil down by 2 total, because you gain a +1 extra if it does match while you're in offensive stance. Now, if you look carefully, there is a diamond-shaped bar that goes around the diamond stances. It fills up slowly when offensive stance is enabled. Once this bar completely fills up, you'll get some seriously important buffs. Your physical and magic damage dealt increases from 35% to 65%. All abilities still will destroy sigils, but now the matching sigil destruction deals +2 towards the enemy, meaning you will break down their symbols down by 3 on each matching sigil, which will help to interrupt the incoming enemy big attacks at a rapid rate. Now let's talk about the defensive stance. While in the blue defensive stance, your diamond bar will decrease slowly over time. And even after 2 seconds, once the bar is not full anymore, you will lose the bonus it built up from the offense until you switch back and build it back up. But there is a generous timing with it, so you can safely swap between the 2 quickly without losing too much of the diamond bar. In defensive stance, you take 30% less damage overall from physical and magical attacks, but healing abilities and healing limit breaks, etc. will have a potency increase of 50%, giving you way more health back while in this stance and healing. So the general rule of thumb is you want to keep the offensive diamond bar maxed out at all times, whenever it's possible, and only switch to defensive stance when you need to guard against a big attack, or you need to get a big heal bonus off before a big attack. If you're in a moment where you need to heal, but have to build up ATB to cure, it's best to let the ATB charge up while waiting in offensive stance. then quickly switching to defense to get that heal bonus and survive. And those are the major differences between the offensive and defensive stance. When it comes to combat in this game, the biggest thing are the sigils. Knowing which sigil is needed is very important before every fight, and thankfully, before every fight, the menu actually tells you which one you will need for this encounter, and we can customize our characters before each one. Here's a little bit of a pro tip here. You might be finding yourself sometimes using a 4 ATB sigil to break a move or interrupt the enemy. But time is running out and you're stuck with only 1 sigil left to break, and rather than waiting for the 4 ATB move, you could simply use a 3 ATB offensive move, either magical or physical, to break that final sigil as long as your attack diamond phase is at full. Because remember, you get an extra bonus on all attacks, not just the matching sigil, but being an offensive stance gives you that bonus on every single ability. This is where ATB management comes into play, and you really want to keep your eye out for it. One of the reasons why I really loved Cloud a lot in the beta was because his Buster Sword actually came with a sigil breaking move with Braver. So for Cloud, you could actually free up a materia slot and having to use an ability for a sigil breaking X move, because Braver already has that and it comes with the Buster Sword, even if you have it as a secondary equipment, which we will get more into on release and launch date. And I'm sure many other characters will have very unique things about them in a similar way. But there you go. That is what I think is the most important tip for all of you guys to learn before you get into Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. And now we can begin our journey together into this amazing, exciting game. It's gonna be a great time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all playing with us on our live streams. I will be live here on YouTube a lot, as well as Twitch, while continuing to upload guides, tips like these, story content, let's plays, as well as funny summon compilation videos. Special thanks again to Square Enix for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys check out the link pinned in the comments below or the description so that you can download this and play this on your iOS mobile devices or your Android mobile devices. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis videos are on the way, and you do not want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.